Ever notice how you give amazing advice to friends but can't follow it yourself? There's a reason. Something inside your mind is actively working against you, and it's way smarter than you think. What if everything you believe about willpower and self-control is completely backwards? Let me hit you with something uncomfortable. The voice in your head that sounds like you, that's not really you. It's a collection of past wounds pretending to be wisdom, and right now is running your entire life. Think about the last time you wanted to start something big. A business, a relationship, a creative project. What happened? Within seconds, your mind flooded with reasons why it wouldn't work. You're not ready. Who do you think you are? Remember last time? That's not intuition. That's trauma, wearing a disguise. But here's what nobody tells you. That critical voice isn't trying to hurt you. It's trying to save you. The problem? It's using a threat detection system built for surviving predators, not for thriving in modern life. Your brain can't tell the difference between actual danger and the discomfort of growth. And it gets weirder. Every time you've failed, your brain filed that away as evidence. Not evidence that you tried, evidence that you are a failure. It's building a case against you, using your own experiences as proof. You're the prosecutor, the defendant, and somehow you keep losing. But that's not the craziest part. Here's where it gets really twisted. Your mind will sabotage success to prove itself right. You'll unconsciously pick the wrong partner, miss the important deadline, or quit right before the breakthrough, all to maintain consistency with your internal story. Because being right feels safer than being happy. A study from UCLA found something disturbing. People experience cognitive dissonance when good things happen that contradict their self-image. Your brain literally rejects positive evidence about yourself. It's like having an immune system that attacks happiness. And here's the thing most people never realize. This isn't happening occasionally. This is your default operating system. Every decision, every reaction, every gut feeling filtered through a lens that assumes the worst about you. You're not seeing reality. You're seeing reality minus your potential. So when you wonder why you can't seem to break through, why the same patterns keep repeating, why you're stuck in the same place year after year, it's not bad luck. It's not the universe. It's an outdated security system treating every opportunity like a threat. What's the one dream you keep talking yourself out of? How your past self is destroying your future. Here's something that'll mess with you. You're not one person. You're a committee, and the loudest member of that committee is the version of you that got hurt the worst. Maybe it's the 12-year-old who got laughed at in class. Maybe it's the teenager who got dumped. Maybe it's the young adult who failed publicly. Whoever it is, they're still here, still making decisions, still voting on what you're allowed to do. And here's where it gets dark. That wounded version of you has veto power. Doesn't matter how much therapy you've done, how many self-help books you've read, how much you've grown. When the stakes get high, that scared kid grabs the wheel. Research from Harvard shows something wild. Your brain stores traumatic memories differently than normal ones. They're more vivid, more accessible, more influential, which means your worst moments have more say in your future than your best ones. You're being governed by your pain points, not your potential. But here's what really changes everything. These past versions of you aren't trying to ruin your life. They're trying to prevent the pain from happening again. In their logic, staying small equals staying safe. Never trying equals never failing. Keeping expectations low equals never being disappointed. The problem? They're using a survival strategy from a situation that no longer exists. It's like still flinching from a dog that bit you 20 years ago even though that dog is long gone. You're defending yourself against ghosts. And this is where most people get it completely wrong. They think they need to get over their past, heal it, fix it, move on from it. But here's the truth nobody wants to hear: you can't outrun your past self. That version of you is part of your system. The only way forward is to update their job description. Because right now, they're working as your life's bouncer, keeping out anything unfamiliar. New opportunities? Rejected. Genuine compliments? Blocked. Real intimacy? Denied entry. All because unfamiliar reads as dangerous to a system built during a time when you actually were vulnerable. But the most twisted part is this. you defend this system. When someone challenges your negative beliefs, you argue for them. When someone sees potential in you, you correct them. You become the enforcer of your own limitations. Which version of your past self is making decisions for you right now? How to fire your inner saboteur without going to war. Let's cut through the noise. You can't beat self-sabotage. That's like trying to win a fight against your own shadow. The more you punch, the more exhausted you get, and the shadow stays exactly where it is. Here's the shift that changes everything. Your self-sabotaging patterns aren't the enemy. They're outdated software running on outdated hardware, trying to solve problems that no longer exist. And you don't fight software, you update it. Every time you procrastinate, there's a part of you trying to avoid pain. Every time you self-destruct, a good thing, there's a part of you trying to prevent abandonment. The behavior is dysfunctional, but the intention is pure protection. Your system is trying to love you, it just sucks at it. And this opens up a completely different strategy. What if, instead of resisting these patterns, you started interviewing them? Hey, procrastination, what are you trying to protect me from? Sounds crazy, but there's neuroscience backing this up. When you observe your thoughts rather than identify with them, you activate different brain regions. You literally shift from reactive to reflective mode. But here's the part that actually works. You don't eliminate negative thoughts. You change your relationship to them. When that sabotaging voice shows up and you just notice it, oh, there's that story again, without buying into it, something powerful happens. The thought loses its grip. A study from King's College London found that psychological flexibility, the ability to experience difficult thoughts without being controlled by them, is a stronger predictor of mental health than positive thinking. It's not about having fewer bad thoughts. It's about being less controlled by the ones you have. Only one problem. This takes brutal consistency. You're rewiring neural pathways that have been reinforced for years, maybe decades. The first time you choose differently feels like walking through concrete. The 10th time feels like wading through mud. The 100th time? That's when it starts to flow. And here's what nobody prepares you for. There will be days when you slip back into old patterns. Days when the saboteur wins. That's not failure, that's data. Every relapse shows you exactly what triggers you need to prepare for next time. What's one small choice you could make differently tomorrow? Rewire. If you're serious about reprogramming these patterns, what's the first micro decision you're going to change? And if this resonated, hit that like button because it tells me this kind of content actually matters to you. What if you were never broken in the first place? Here's the final truth that flips the entire script. You were never sabotaging yourself. You were always protecting yourself, just using broken tools. Let that land for a second. Every act of self-destruction was actually an act of self-preservation. Quitting before you failed was your way of maintaining control. Pushing people away was your way of avoiding abandonment. Playing small was your way of staying safe. You weren't weak. You were scared. And scared people do smart things in dumb ways. Which means all that energy you spent hating yourself for self-sabotaging, wasted. Because you were fighting a part of yourself that was desperately trying to keep you alive. It's like punishing a guard dog for barking at strangers. The dog is doing exactly what it was trained to do. And when you realize this, everything shifts. The war ends, not because you won, but because you finally understood there was never an enemy. Just an outdated defense system running on old code, trying its best with limited information. Here's the part that hits different. Imagine how much of your life you spent in this internal battle. How many opportunities you let pass. How many connections you sabotaged. How many versions of yourself you never allowed to exist, all because you misinterpreted your own protection mechanisms as personal failures. But this is where it gets beautiful. The moment you stop fighting yourself, all that energy redirects. The same force you used to tear yourself down now builds you up. It's not new energy, it's the same power. Finally flowing in the right direction. You didn't gain anything. You just stopped blocking what was always there. And here's the truth most people never accept. You won't wake up tomorrow completely reprogrammed. There will be setbacks. The old voice will get loud again. You'll catch yourself falling into familiar patterns. And that's exactly how it's supposed to work. Transformation isn't perfection, it's direction. Each time you recognize a sabotaging pattern and choose differently, even if you mess up later, you're carving a new neural pathway. Each time you catch that critical voice and don't believe it, you're teaching your brain a new way to operate. It's not about never falling, it's about falling less often and getting up faster. And here's your final proof that you're not your own worst enemy. You watched this whole thing. An enemy doesn't seek understanding, doesn't want to grow, doesn't care about improvement. You do. You always have. You were just using the wrong strategy. The game's different now. You know how your system works. You understand the patterns. You see the protective intentions behind destructive behaviors. And with that awareness, you can finally make the choice that matters most, to be the conscious ally of yourself, not the unconscious saboteur. What becomes possible when you stop treating yourself like the problem and start treating yourself like the solution? Upgrade. If this video shifted how you see yourself, share it with someone who's fighting their own internal war, because sometimes the thing that frees you can free someone you love. And if you want more content that actually challenges how you think, subscribe and drop a like so I know this matters to you. This content is for educational and entertainment purposes regarding human behavior and psychology. It does not replace professional mental health care. If you're struggling with serious mental health challenges, please seek qualified professional support.